Hey everybody, here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho at the Silver Symposium, introducing a new series by popular demand. My subscribers have wanted me to do this. We're announcing Mining Stock Mondays. Every Monday, we're going to bring you a mining stock review. We're going to tell you what we like about certain companies in the space, what some of the risks and challenges of those could be, and what we foresee those projects potentially being in the future. For those of you supporting us on Patreon, we will also add this content to the mining stock tier and give you some additional information as well. Hope you guys are excited. We're going to lead off with Silver Tigre, a company I'm very positive on, and you will see that here in the next few seconds. Stay tuned. Everybody, this is Rob Keens of goldsilverpros.com. I'm here with Glenn Jessome, who's a returning guest of the program. He is the president and CEO of Silver Tigre Metals. Glenn, how are you doing this fine day?
Well, great here in Halifax, East Coast of Canada. It's just always a pleasure to talk to you, Rob.
Yeah, good to talk to you as well. I'd recently done a trip down to Mexico and loved the place. I hung out in Puerto Vallarta, which is a great little town, great little resort town. But I've been to Mexico several times, done some mine tours, and I always love coming down here. I love the culture. I love the place. Of course, you guys have a big project down here as well. Are you going to be traveling soon? Are you guys going to be doing site visits and things like that, or how are things going?
Absolutely. Let's just talk about Mexico. I mean, our group out of Halifax, and it's no secret that who we are. We've been in Mexico for almost 30 years. We've built several large mines. We sold to majors. A couple of years ago, we sold one of our assets to Agnico Eagle. I think most people know about that. Why we love Mexico? It's a mining jurisdiction, my friend. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about travel in a minute, but people don't realize that we are ahead of, I'm a Canadian, I can say this. I don't want to disparage on your mining regulation there. In many ways, they're ahead of us. Remember, the Spanish came and started mining in the Mayans even before that in Mexico, well before we ever even thought about having mining here. Very well developed. The regulation is beautiful, but it's the infrastructure. We're in Sonora. You know where our project is. We've gone through that. I'm not going to get slides up and do that. We have a 30,000 hectare project. Sonora's mining country. I can look from our mountain around and I can see the waste dumps of 4 or 5 big copper mines, gold mines within 30, silver mines in 30, 40, 75 kilometers, Chispa, 90 kilometers to the south. But because of that, everything is built around mining. The railroad that goes by. The town of Escada, 30 kilometers from us, it's just a mining town. It's only there to service the miners. Hermosillo, 2 hours away. They have the geological school of mining right there. Unlimited geologists. It is just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful place to mine. And I say that because my team, many of them have been all over the world. Africa, we focus only on Mexico. And they basically say the same thing. This is the best jurisdiction in the world for building mines. And we've been very successful doing it. So our team, back to travel. We're regularly in Mexico. I mean, my geo, Dave Duncan, he goes there and spends 2 weeks every month there in Hermosillo and on the mountain. We have our expat team on the mountain with all of our Mexican team, right? They go in for 2, 3, 4 months at a time before they get back to Canada. We're just regularly back and forth. Site visits, very interesting. We'll talk about Beaver Creek too. Just got back from the Precious Metal Summit. We have a gab. But what I saw there was things have changed. And where the site visits are driven are by the corporates, okay? And they're driven by, to a degree, some of the analysts. As you know, we're covered by everybody in Toronto. You can find all of our analyst coverage on the website or a way to get to it. But those guys are all changed now. They weren't looking to go anywhere. Now it's, when can we schedule a site visit, Glenn? When can we schedule a site visit, Glenn? Every meeting ended with that. So there has been a fundamental change that I think people have now just said, we got to get on with it. And they're getting on with it. And they're traveling too. We've never stopped traveling. We've had no issues with COVID in Mexico.
Yeah, that's great. And I do love Mexico as well from the mining standpoint. If you really want to understand where the metals come from, it's a great place to come to. The people down here are so hospitable. And a lot of these people have been doing this. It's generational. It's familial. They've been doing this for multi-generation. It's in their blood. It's part of their culture. And being a precious metals guy, I love coming down here and immersing myself in that and having a chance to see site and see a lot of people that have been involved with this for so long.
Rob, you're down there now. Is that correct?
I'm down here as we speak. I'm heading back up to the States tomorrow.
Well, why don't I get one of the guys to flip down and get you, and we'll take you right up to the Tigre, and you can have a look around.
Okay,
sure. That underground, and you can see some core. Maybe not enough notice, is it?
Maybe not for this trip, but we'll be coming down maybe again in October. So maybe I'll work something.
Love to have you up there. We drive right into that thing. It's a piece of cake. You get up there, and it's an incredible asset we have.
So I just had a recording yesterday with two of my favorite guests on our program, Dave Kranzler, who does investment research dynamics and writes the Mining Stock Journal. A really good analyst, been doing this for a long time, runs his own hedge fund, and also Andy Schechtman, who runs Miles Franklin, which is one of the leading precious metals dealers here in the States. Right. And the premise of the video last night was precious metals panic or patience, because we've had some pullback, and especially in silver, but also in gold. Our view was that we're okay on the precious metals. It's normal in a bull market, but I wanted to get your view on that. Being in the precious metals as a producer, what's your view on, where we are in that market?
Look, we've been doing this 30 years. You know our track record of a Halifax group. Mm-hmm. We built a lot of mines. We built mines and mine silver. We've done it at $8, $12, $22, $30 coming, maybe 40, 50. You just know these are just the cycles. Last summer, that was an anomaly. Everybody was running around. The institutions were tripping over themselves to put money in silver deals, and they got their position. They're not stupid. They know what's coming in the future. Yeah. That doesn't happen in the summer. We've been through many summers. Listen, our team here sat on the 15th of June, and we said, everybody's going away. That's what they said. They're just all going to disappear well into the fall, we think. And we're just going to do what we do: drill, add ounces, move them in economics to prove their ore, and then go mine them. That's just what we do. And you're going to have lots of this. Look, it's real simple. I'm going to talk about silver. You can call it precious. I'm just going to talk about silver right now. We have a lot of it. There's not enough. I'm a securities player. I've lived my whole life in the capital markets. What is the capital markets all about? Sure, it's about raising capital, but you are successful on the basis of supply and demand. Stock, that's how things go up. There's not enough silver, not even close. And they need it, and there's not a lot of real silver mines in the world. And we think that the Tigre district is going to become a very important strategic silver asset for the world over the next several years. And that's where we are. So we couldn't be happier. We know where silver's going.
Yeah, and you guys just keep cranking out the news. And this is what I love about your company. You guys are on a run that I saw, and I mentioned this before, Silvercrest a few years ago. You're on that path, right? So you had one, came out September 7th. You intersected over 2,000 grams per ton silver equivalent over 1.7 meters, and then 7.2 meter grading 870. Those numbers are fantastic. Glenn, walk us through what you guys are saying in your exploration.
Well, look, what we're doing right now, and it's a simple plan, is we've got this 30,000 hectare project. We have 25, 26 kilometers of these continuous veins running north and south. We're focused right on that middle 4, 5, 6 kilometers around the old Tigre mine. Look, it's real simple about what we're doing. It's what we all do in Mexico. There's no new discovery, Rob. I've said this, I think, on the show before. Everybody asks, oh, what a discovery. We are all garbage men down there. Silvercrest, great respect to them, 90 kilometers to the south. It was an old Swiss mine, 3,000 hectares. They went and took what the old timers left. Beautiful. The Tigre was special. We got 30,000 kilometers. That mine, 1908 to 1930. Think about this, 100 million silver equivalent ounces came out of an underground American mine at over 2.5 kilograms per ton silver. They only went home in 1930, silver went to 10 cents, just like they went home with cheese pod to the south of me. Now, that all being said, the cutoff for that mine, 1.2 kilos. What we knew when we started drilling around it, we have as much of your countertop, that quartz vein, if you want to call it that, high grade, you can see in that press release, 1, 2 meters, 1, 2, 3, 5, up to 10 kilos silver. What the old timers left us is they didn't want anything to do with it. They just wanted that meter of that super high grade. And basically that's perfect, get that up here. What we want to see from that, Rob, is we're seeing, the key for us as miners, look at that. Okay, we got tons of this too. We got more than we can ever drill, and maybe in my lifetime. But that wide zone, that's 7.2 meters of 870. And you start looking down at some of those other holes, you start seeing that 4.8 meters of 1.3 kilos. That ain't narrow vein mining. Like, you know, that's long hole mining. This is all very close, 150 meters from surface. So what we're starting to see now is, boy, anything under 1.2 kilos, the old timers left us, but they left us what's evolving and really impressing us is wide zones. Like that's what's coming. And you saw some of our other results we had in there. You know, we had 20 meters of 700-800 grams in some of our holes we put out in the summer, right?
Yeah.
That is invaluable, valuable ore close to surface. So here's simple what we're going to do. I'm not going to bring up the maps. Everybody can go. I've got so many presentations where I go through, verify. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. We're heading down 4 rigs going to 5. We're on that Sui vein right in the middle guts. You'll be hearing lots about that. That's where these drill results came from. We've got holes across about 3 kilometers of that now. In some areas, we've filled it in basically very tightly within 50 meters. We're just going to have 50-meter spacings along that 3 kilometers. And that's going to be the guts of a new 43-101 resource estimate. You're going to see that 2022. We're going to put a bunch of high-grade silver ounces on the books to go around along with the 1 million ounce open pit gold resource we've already drilled off. It was just sitting there around the old mine in the Halo. Boy, you're starting to add up some real ounces then. But this project is so big, Rob, it's not going to be, okay, there's the resource estimate. That's going to be resource estimate 2022. And then we're just going to start drilling the Tigre vein. And then we're going to drill the Sites Kelly vein. And we're going to drill the Cayley vein because it's all within this green brownfields area. And then there's going to be resource estimate 2023. And then there's going to be resource estimate 2024. That's how big this project is. We think over the next several years, as we really get the drill meters into this thing, this becomes a very, very important strategic silver asset, not just for Mexico, not just for Canada, but for the world. And we can say that because we've done this before.
Yeah, a couple of things I want to highlight there. You guys have more probably upside in terms of greenfield, in terms of explorable property than most miners in the area.
100%.
And you're dealing with much higher grams per ton results than most miners in the area because you have so much that was untouched. And that's really the story of Mexico. A lot of this silver and even gold to some extent coming out of Mexico, and even some of the copper in there, is from old mines. It's 100%. From what the Spanish left. It's from what the Mexican, explorers left. But you guys in particular are in such a rich area that most of it hasn't even really been touched. It's you've got that existing ground and then you've got that virgin ground. And that's why you say this could go on for a long period of time, because once you guys start pulling it up, I'm sure you're going to go do some more exploration and find some more. Can I share? I got to share the screen now. Can I take 1 minute and share that with you? I said I wasn't going to.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Let me see if I can get my verify up here for 1 second. And let me share this because I got to show you one map. And you've just summed up why we're so excited about this. Let's see if this thing will work, because this will really show you what the old timers left us. Everybody says, we're just scratching the surface. I'm going to show you what I bought. I bought a public company in 2017 at the bottom of the market. Hopefully this will share up in a minute. And what we were very impressed with, we bought a big, big, big district. That's what we bought. And from my side, don't think it's going to work, Rob. Doesn't matter.
We can get it up on my screen. I'll get to that in a minute, but you can talk through it.
You get my verify up if you can. And what I'm looking for is a slide near the end which says mineralized system 25 kilometers. But what we bought was, sure, we paid $11 million for a public company called Tigre Silver. They had this asset, so beautiful. We delisted that company and took the asset into Silver Tigre. We bought a 35-kilometer land package, 25 kilometers of it, mineralized Sierra Madre trend. And we've been across 25 kilometers of that thing now. And what I want to show people, we can get this up here, which is, I think, so important, is basically, I'll stop sharing so you can see if you can get it up there, is basically just how little the old timers took. And not just how little they took on the trend, but everything that was 1.2 kilos and below, that was waste for them. Imagine 1.2 kilos and below. That was the cutoff of the mine. So, we are just scratching the surface. And the old timers, we love too is remember what we did as soon as we got there. Went to the University of Wyoming, sent the team down there. They spent about a month. They found the old Anaconda collection, all those underground mining records from that little mine. That was a little mine that took out 100 million silver equivalent ounces over 20 years at 2.5 kilos. But we got all the mining records, 20,000 underground samples every 5 feet. And everything that they stopped mining at 1930 came, they all went home. Everything they stopped mining in was 1, 2, 3 kilos. So why don't you go down if you can on the side and go almost to the bottom slides and right down the bottom just before analyst coverage says mineralized system 25 kilometers. That's the slide I want.
Okay.
If you can, there, now keep going, keep going.
Got all your maps in here for people that want to know about it. And
Verify is incredible. It's the only way to present a mining project now. Get your people on there via verify. Keep going there. I think it's this one. Stop right there. No, back one.
This one.
There you go. Okay. What you're looking at right there, my friend, is inside the blue box, 35 kilometers. You can see the colored area. That's 25 kilometers. That's all of our mapping and sampling we've done. Okay. Right. If you think about that, we've gone from each end of that thing right now, and you can see in that colored area, right in the middle, you see some black lines that aren't red. See those where you point right
here?
That's the old mine, Rob. They only went to 150 on 1 vein meters, 150 and 450 on the Tigre. Everything, we have all the mine records. Everything they stopped in 1930, silver 10 cents, everybody went home, was 1-2 kilos. And they only took a tiny bit of it. That trend continues 15 kilometers north. We've already mapped and sampled, same veins, same high-grade silver, and to the south for another 15 kilometers. We found 3 more mines down there. We've been in them, high-grade gold and silver. To the north at Polaris, high-grade silver mine. We've been in it. Never had a drill hole. South never had a drill hole. And then you kind of see the pink there. That's the top of the upper volcanic. We got on the other side of that. I added that 6,000 hectares because that Santa Maria system had repeated itself. We've been over there now with the boots on the ground, high-grade gold and silver. Look, my team tell me the following, Mexican team, Jessome, you'll be dead, and they're still going to be drilling at the Tigre. And that's what these are. Our Ocampo is 30 years later, and they're still hauling precious metals out of it. That's when you find a district like this, what you're into, and that's exactly, we're just getting started here. So look, I think this would be for the world where there's no silver and everybody's woke up. I think it's the word they use. They want their battery cars, they want their 5G, they want their solar power. Someone's going to have to give them that silver, and it's going to be at a very high price, in our opinion. We're going to be one of the big suppliers of that going forward.
Yeah, I want to talk about supply shortage, just getting back to like market data, for example. Report out by the Silver Institute, we're going to use or demand over 1 billion ounces of silver for the first time in history, and this year the miners can't produce it. So we're in right now the supply cliff or the supply shortage. And when you add to that, most of the silver doesn't come out of primary silver mines; it comes as a byproduct. So it's very hard to amp up silver production when silver price is rising, when it's a byproduct, because it's just a byproduct credit to like those copper mines. So where you're going to actually get your next ounce of silver is going to be from primary silver mines. So guys like you who have a primary silver mine and have ample amounts of it, you guys are going to be supplying what the market's going to be demanding over the next 5 to 10 years.
100%. So you know our group, you know, I'm the securities lawyer. I build our public companies. You know, our sister company, big sister, I call her, is Go Gold. Look at their Los Ricos asset. That is already, in my opinion, and
it's huge.
I'm biased because I built the project, I built the company. I'm one of the largest shareholders of that company, so I'll full disclosure on that. That thing is already, in my opinion, the top 5 strategic silver assets on the planet already. That's my opinion. I can have that. Do I think the Tigre's going down that road? Yes. Or do we use the same technical team and all of our experience over 25, 30 years in Mexico? Yes. That's kind of what we do. And look, you ask what we think the next 10 years, and we've been doing this for almost 30, will be the most incredible years for us as silver miners in our lifetime. That's what we talk about when we have a cold one at the end of the day and look over the horizon. It just cannot be any other way.
Yeah. One of the reasons I do these mining stock presentations and work with the mining stock industry so much, and people ask me, Rob, why don't you just talk about the metal? I do talk about the metal, but the problem with just looking at that end of the supply chain is you got to get it out of the ground, and we have to support the mining industry. If we do not support the mining industry, the ounces that you're going to want next year, whether it be for manufacturing or for investment purposes, you're not going to have them. And the mining sector has not recovered from its 2011 high just yet. When we look at the amount of money going into junior resource miners, Canadian companies, North American companies, for example, my friend Kai Hoffman has an index where he tracks that over at Orn Inc. It's sitting at a 52 print, whereas in 2011 it was over 100. So we have about half of the amount of funds going in the mining sector now that we did before. Well, if we don't get those funds in, that metal's not coming out of the ground. And the metal doesn't come out of the ground, where are you going to get it when you need it? Where are you going to get your silver for EV? Where are you going to get your silver for the space race? Where are you going to get your silver for your iPhones? Then all of a sudden you have a more massive shortage, Glenn, because it takes 5 to 7 years to get these mining projects up and running. So we need to be investing in this end of the spectrum now, so that we have those supplies going forward. And those investors that get into that are probably going to do better than just owning the precious metal by themselves. That's my thought anyway.
100%. And you know, two things I want to say on that. Number one is that, you know, we see the shortage in front of us. We think all the time about drilling off ounces, not just to drill off ounces, to convert them to ore with economics and get them out of the ground. We are sprinting to get silver out of the ground at our projects.
Right.
That's what we're thinking about right now. We're not like, oh, we're going to drill a hole or two, someone's going to buy us. Look, that happens naturally. When you have one of the top strategic assets in the world, trust me, for silver, you're getting lots of attention from the corporates. But we are rushing because we know what that shortage is going to be. I asked a question for you. In Canada, we like to have our own silver. And
exactly.
We like to, I know everything about silver. I'm in that industry. I can't go buy any. How are you guys finding it down there for getting supply?
It's very difficult. You can find it sometimes at online dealers, but the premiums are extremely high if you're a retail investor. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So there's your example. And trust me, you could see that. I think the younger generation, I'm not it, you're a little bit more it, but even younger, they're starting to wake up to saying, you know what, we should have some of this. We should have some of this. And are you seeing that also? Because I think that could be the real game changer that nobody's even factoring in over here.
I see people waking up to resource. Of course, my kids, you know, because I run Gold Silver Pros, I taught my kids, do some of your investment in the metals. You know, I'm not going to preach to you have to own it all. My daughter buys the metals. My son loves it. All of my son's savings, he was a model for a number of years, is in metals. My daughter,
must look like his mother.
Yeah. And my daughter's an actress. She's on 3 different TV shows this year: Walking Dead, Big Sky, and ABC.
Yeah, you were telling me, yeah.
And Walker, and she's like, Dad, I need to get more into metals. So she's going to be earning very well this year. She's probably going to out earn me, actually. Well, good for her. That's and okay. She's like, Dad, I need stability. I need metals. Absolutely. So I think kids are starting to wake up, because if you look at some of the alternatives, you've got other alternatives, but they're in such a bubble. You know, the real estate, the stock market, crypto. Which one do you go in and feel safe there? I'm not sure right now I would. No. There's always a pullback in those. And I think what's happening, we're seeing this commodity boom, Glenn, and I think the precious metals are going to be a part of that. We've already seen highs in copper and zinc, lithium. That's coming to the precious metal. And one more thing I want to throw in here. We were talking last night on the program, on the live stream, about the China's Belt and Road Initiative. Right. China is connecting 73% of the world's GDP together in the biggest infrastructure project in humans' history.
That's correct.
They're going to need supplies. If China gets a hold of all of the base metal and precious metal supplies, the problem that we're having now in sourcing silver is going to get worse. Strategically, Canada, Mexico, United States, we need to think about how we secure, you know, our silver for our industry as well.
100%. And I don't think the Chinese are going to play nice and share with us. I just
no. I don't think they are either. So I think the silver cliff is going to get more pronounced because silver is so industrial. And
I agree.
That's why I see it as being, you know, potentially game-changing type of investment. It's not just investment.
It's an infra metal. We know, we've all talked, it's an infra metal. It's a strategic metal. Look, there's a reason why for thousands of years, a protection of value has been precious metals. That's never going to change, in my opinion.
So you mentioned earlier, you guys are going to do an updated 43-101. I know you're busy getting, you know, those drill rigs running and stuff, and releasing a lot of news, which is we love, because it's a story that we can tell people. These guys know what they're doing. They're producing the results. But when do you think, Glenn, that you may have that 43-101? I don't want to pin you down on a specific date.
No. Look, you know, I can tell you as follows, that we will not stop and drill all of our resource off before we release that. The project is too big. I would have to drill for a decade before they put out a 500 million ounce super high grade silver 43,101. I made that number up just so everybody's clear. But that's the way. Look, you can see there's different strategies. Silvercrest had a strategy. They drilled 500,000 meters at Cheese Paw, and they came out with their 100 million-ish high grade 750 gram beautiful resource, and they're going to build their mine on 3,000 hectares. We can't do that. We have 30,000 hectares. You can see 25 kilometers. We have to just say, okay, we're going to drill off the Sui vein, and there's a resource. We'll then get to maybe the Cayley, the Sites Kelly, and the Northern, the Protector, et cetera, et cetera. There's a resource. So there will be, and our goal will be to keep adding ounces every year, 2022, 2023, 2024, and so on and so on. So will this be in the first quarter of this year? No, we have too much drilling to do. We've got 5 drill rigs now going, 4, a 5th one starting anytime, banging on that resource. So it is my goal to have it in the first half of 2022? Yes, that's my goal. I can't guarantee that's going to happen. Does it drag a couple of months past it? Sure, it could. But that's the goal we're setting out to have for ourselves, to bring that to the table. And always remember, always what we're thinking. It's not just, oh, we're drilling off ounces. We're drilling off ounces, and we're always thinking about how do we move that towards economics, PEA, et cetera, et cetera. So we can start thinking and scoping out in our minds, how are we going to build this thing? How are we going to get metal out of the ground? Because look at Go Gold, look at Peral. I mean, you know that story. Man, it's nice to live off the brick, guys. It is so nice every month to have that $3 million USD free cash flow coming in and going right into the ground. You know, that's where I think you're going to see us move at some point, because we have to. We can't just drill all this off and raise money. We're gonna think, when is the right time to say, okay, let's get some of that metal and let's start selling it at $30 or $40. That's where I think we're going. So exciting. That's the plan for us right now, is to get this thing rocking.
Glenn, last question for you. One of the things that I try to emphasize is finding miners that have been what Rick Rule calls serially successful, have done it before. I think you guys meet that bill, because it shows that management knows what they're doing, and they're not, this isn't something where you're just going to pump out a bunch of shares and disappear. You're going to take it to execution. Not only that, but somebody that has enough resource for staying power, because one of the risks in mining stocks, and I want to talk risk here for a second. Sure. You get a resource, you drill it off, you build the mine, you liquidate it, you can't find your next resource. You guys are different than that. You're positioned to where your resource is going to last a long time. Talk about the long-term wealth and value creation for investors in that type of project, where they're not always looking behind them going, where's this company going to get their next ounce?
So I showed you that map, and I showed you that 25 kilometers. Yeah. We have already put 1 million ounces open pit gold resource on the books. That's going to deliver some beautiful return for us when we start getting at that. We're drilling off the next chunk of high grade silver ounces. We're going to get that out of the ground. But as what we don't look at, because people get tired of drill results, Rob. Like, you know, you would just keep putting them out good, and then after a while they say, oh man, another good one. Right. Where are we going with this? We're going to make it very clear. We are going to drill off ounces. We are going to convert them to economics with PEAs and what we need to get going. And we are going to build this as fast as possible. Do I think what we build first will look like what it will be 3 years later as far as a facility? No. But there's ways that we always think about, okay, there's ways to get the metal out of the ground. We're already thinking about, because it's so high grade, it's so close to surface. A lot of it's sitting on surface, Rob. The waste rock there is 3-4 grams per ton gold, piles of Rasaga, because that was the waste rock for the old guys. You know, there's a tailing project there that's got a pre-feasibility on it. The underground is just, look at that. When you start seeing 10, 12 meters of a kilo close to surface, we're thinking, how the heck do we get that? And how do we get that metal out as soon as possible? So the de-risking is, look, I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to guarantee it. We've been doing this for a long time. We've built a lot of mines. Are we going to end up building a mine here? In my opinion, absolutely. And that is the long-term value proposition, because drill holes can run out.
They can. You guys This is what I see. There's always risk in any mining venture. I've been to your district. Yep. I've seen other projects there. I know, like I said, the history of mining in this area, the families that have been doing it, the people that are down there. Yep. You guys have a big enough project. For me, one of the de-risking scenarios is how long can these guys go? Are they in and out in a few years, or is it something that can last? Because when I invest in things, Glenn, I look long-term. That's just me. I don't day trade anymore. I did that when I was a kid.
100%.
I don't screw around with that anymore. I'm looking for how do I build wealth and give it to my kids later on. That's what I want to do. These are the types of projects, Go Gold and Silver Tigre, that I like, because to me, it speaks to you can own these for a while and you can encourage your kids to understand how these work and maybe participate as well. And it takes some of the uncertainty in the future away. So that's why I like you guys. And that's why I bring you on the show, and I appreciate you being a part of it. So thanks for joining us today.
100%. I'll say one last thing. And if my partner, Brad Langell, was here, he'd agree with me. He'd be one of the, if not, I'm a very large shareholder. He's the largest shareholder, I think, very big holder. One of them. I'm the largest shareholder, maybe some institutions, shareholder of the Tigre. We get out one way, Rob. You're with us. Like if you're long, we can't be any longer. We only get out if we, and everything we do is to build a mine. But along the way, if a corporate has to absolutely have it, like our Senator Dudas deal, and it's right for shareholders, we'll do that. That's how I get out of the Tigre, or I build a mine. There's no other way out for me. You go look at CDAR and look at my holdings. They only go up. They never go down. So that's you're with. If you want to be long, there's nobody longer in this deal than me. So come on along for the ride, and you're going to put your head up in a couple of years and go, wow, look what we've built. And that's where we're going with it.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it. Thanks, Glenn, for hopping on the program again. We appreciate you.
Bob, we always appreciate talking with you.
And for everybody that's interested in our coverage of the mining stocks, which is a lot of our viewers, I get 100 emails a week about mining stocks. We'll be continuing to cover both Go Gold and Silver Tigre. You'll see that over the next 3 to 4 months as well. So we'll do news releases and things. And of course, if you join our Patreon, we have them highlighted there as well. So thank you, Glenn, so much for joining.
Thank you, Rob. Have a great day.
Hey guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications, and go to goldsilverpost.com and sign up for the free newsletter so you can get your updates.